Well, good morning, Mary, and welcome to all our listeners for this Saturday conversation. My name is Nigel Coates, and on behalf of Avon Valley Churches, it's my privilege to talk today to Mary Adams. Mary was one of the first people my wife Rhoda and I met on retiring to Fordingbridge some 18 months ago, and I subsequently discovered that although Mary had been in Fordingbridge for the best part of 50 years, she was actually fairly new to St Mary's because her background was as a Methodist in Sandal Heath, but lockdown changed a lot of things, as we know. I learned also that there was scarcely anyone in Fordingbridge that Mary didn't know, because she'd either taught them or their children at the Burgate School for well over 40 years. So very interesting person to interview, and we look forward to what she's got to say. And I want to suggest that Mary begins by telling us something of her background that prepared her for teaching. Over to you, Mary.
Well, my life started in the West Riding of Yorkshire, and when I was 3 years old, then I was sent to Sunday school with my brother, who was 7. And so I've always been in the church. That I never had a Damascus Road experience or anything like that, that my life just went on from there in the church. And when I was 5, I sat on the stairs at home with my dolls, and I told my mum that I wanted to be a teacher. And I never went from wanting to be a teacher. It was just something that was in me, so that throughout my life, then I suppose if you're saying about preparation, then I helped in the Sunday school. I helped at Cubs, which is where I met Peter, because he was a Rover Scout and my brother was the Scout Master. I went to Sunday school. I went to the Methodist Youth Club, and there I had, I'm very fortunate that I've had lots of caring people who've supported me in my life, because I've had 1 or 2 blips, like my mother died when I was 16, and so the church, Les and Edna, who was Sunday school and youth club, then they supported me, and so I went on. So always I was supported, and always I wanted to support others. And so that's, I suppose, my background to teaching.
Where did you actually train for teaching, Mary?
I trained at a Church of England training college. I went to Ripon College in Yorkshire because my dad had been born there, and we rather liked the idea, and it was only 50 miles from home, so I could get back quite easily. So yes, so Ripon was amazing. I was in the choir at Ripon, and I played for them at hockey and netball and things like that. I really, really enjoyed it there, and a good grounding. But as a Methodist, then a dozen of us, we had special non-conformist lectures, apart from the others as well. And that I got this little certificate that came in handy later that said I was a brilliant person to teach RE.
Oh, wonderful. But as I understand it, you didn't teach RE to start with. You taught English and history, is that right?
I trained main English and subsid history.
Right.
But I always think God works in most mysterious ways. And my life just changed when I met Peter and got married. And then Peter was in the army. And so I needed a job within the 10-mile radius of Salisbury. And I got the job at Burgate, but it was head of girls' PE. Because I'd done a lot of PE then.
Yes.
They thought, oh, well, temporary for a year. But then I was still there, yes. And I still help these days on trips when I have them at Burgate.
But how did the shift to teaching RE happen?
Well, I was head of girls' PE, and then I just did part-time and supply. Mr. Benfield, who was another supporter of me and my family, he said I couldn't go back to teaching till Stephen was in football boots. So in the 5 years, then I did part-time and supply, and a job was coming up half-time that was RE. And Mr. Benfield thought that I would be good for this job, and so I took it.
You took RE, yes.
And so from that, then I had to start doing, looking at world religions, Man's Religious Quest I did in the OU, I did courses. And then I went on some amazing holidays with Hampshire teachers, and Peter came too. So in different parts of the world, I learned about different religions.
Yeah. Tell us where you went, Mary.
Well, I started off, I went to Israel 4 or 5 times. This was with the same group or same nucleus of people, Hampshire teachers. And in Israel, I absolutely loved it. But a lot of the places didn't really make me feel close to Jesus. But the one place was the Sea of Galilee. I found that an amazing, amazing place. Sailing across there and imagining Jesus on the water, stilling the storm, the fishing and things like that. I found that really moving. But I went to all the places, to Bethlehem, Jerusalem. I loved Jerusalem. And of course, by then I was studying Judaism as well and Islam. And so all the places brought my teaching to life. Can you say more
about why it was particularly the Sea of Galilee that resonated with you?
I don't know. I don't know whether it was the fact it was natural and it was there, and that some of the places, I wasn't sure whether this was where this happened or that was where that happened. But the Sea of Galilee just gripped me.
Yes. Yeah.
But then I went on from Israel to Turkey, yes, where we looked at Islam. Oh, some amazing, amazing mosques.
And did you see that?
Pardon?
Did you see? Did you go to Constantinople?
No, I didn't.
No.
But we went to Istanbul mainly for the mosques and that. Yeah. But I'd also seen, I've seen the Blue Mosque and the mosque in Jerusalem, and they were places of great beauty. And then we went to Cambodia and Vietnam for Buddhism. And there, I love Buddhism. I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. The Dharma is the law, the Sangha is the community. And I feel that for me at St. Mary's, the community, when the lockdown came for COVID and we had to have church on Zoom, and I found out St. Mary's was doing Zoom church, then I never missed one. And the Zoom afterwards for coffee, then there were so many wonderful people on there from all the churches in the area. And there was Andrea Board, who was on there from America. And so I've met her. And when she comes over, I hope to meet her in the flesh. But all the people were so kind. And when my brother was ill with COVID and then he died, then the people of St. Mary's were amazing. I had letters, I had emails, I had telephone calls, and that, for me, that is Christianity and Fordingbridge at its best, where everybody cares about everybody and wants to help them and wants to be there for them. And that's, I think Fordingbridge is a treasure trove of people, Fordingbridge an area of people who want to do good things in the community. And in Fordingbridge we have things like Stroke Club. Peter runs Luncheon Club. We have the twinning. And with the twinning, then I've been in the Roman Catholic Church in Vimoutier. That's the most warm and amazing place. I love it there. And the people there are very welcoming. But we've also, not only do we twin with people, we've also got a twin toilet, and we've just done a twin binning in the recreation ground in Fordingbridge, then there's a bin with a sticker on because we've twinned with the bin. So it can help people have jobs and better lives.
But you're reflecting on the community here in Fordingbridge, but we got into this because you mentioned you found communities in Buddhism which were also attractive to you.
Yes. In Buddhism, then the monks in particular live in their communities. Yes. But I just found that when I went on courses, it was always, although they were there and they had their mantras and all that, but it brought out the goodness in the local community, because yes, they only had something to eat if people gave it to them. And so I just feel that this is part of, I think all religions treat other people how you would like to be treated. And that, I think, is the essence, and that you can find God in people, because this goodness is there and it comes out in so many.
Yes. Buddhism has a fair bit to say also about the world's sort of imperfections, doesn't it, in the Dharma?
Well, it does, yes. But in Buddhism, in many ways, it's a more positive religion, because it's what you should do, not what you shouldn't do. Where we've got in the Bible, thou shalt not, yeah, then in Buddhism, it's you shall. Yes. You know, it's quite different in things like that, but I can appreciate it all. Yes. And the life of the Buddha and the life of Jesus, the life of Muhammad, peace be upon him, that the special founder that brings the teaching out.
Yes, yes. Interesting you talk about the way Buddhism stresses...
Sorry, I couldn't hear that, Nigel.
Interesting the way you say that Buddhism stresses the positive as well as negative, and perhaps Jesus did too, in putting the commandments in a positive form about loving God and loving
definitely, and the Sermon on the Mount.
Yes,
then that was always one of my favourites.
Yes, yeah. So your experience of other world religions, Mary, has helped you reflect on your own Christian tradition and on your own pilgrimage, by the sounds of it.
Well, yes, I suppose in some ways I'm a Judeo-Christian Buddhist, because although I'm a Christian, then parts of other religions do appeal to me. And, yes, and it's this way you are looking at things in different ways that I like about it. Yes. Because like the three jewels, the refuges and things like that, that you can look at things and study. And I like mantras that when I was at school and we did Buddhism, then a lot of them liked when we had Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. And it kind of centered them, you know, what are we doing, what are we saying, how are we experiencing this? And some, they were very interested in the fact that you could worship in different ways, not just hymn singing or things like that. There was all sorts. You could be thoughtful and prayerful and things like that.
Yeah, interesting. So are you suggesting that there are things that we can learn within Christian faith about the need to, the importance of prayer and meditation, and using mantras ourselves in prayer? Would you be happy with that?
Well, yes, but I think that we all work in different ways, and I think different ways appeal to different people. It's like when we have prayers in St. Mary's in the intercessions, then the people who do them approach it from all different ways. Yes. And I think that's the beauty of it. Yes. That there's no set way, yes, that this is the pattern, but you can go your own way. Yes. And make people think about things that they would not perhaps have thought about.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. Mary, you've spoken a lot about what we can learn and how your own faith has been informed by knowledge of of other world faiths. What do you think is particularly significant for the church of today? I mean, obviously in teaching young people all your life, you've got a heart for young people. What reflections have you got on how the church might relate to and connect again with a whole new generation?
Well, I do think that we miss out by not spending more time and money on young people, because in the world today, then there are so many good things that they could do and be involved in. I mean, at St. Mary's, I love it when we had things like the Easter bags, where we could get the young people to do things and involve them, because I think that young people they are the church of today, but they're the church of the future. And my daughter Claire, then she was a bell ringer, and she used to go with Annette Young and Mary Melbourne on a Sunday night, and they had great times after the church service where they discussed things. They went to Winchester on courses, they did all sorts of things. And I think that we need to draw them in different ways on different things. But I am interested in Joe's work, that I think that's, the way forward. But also then, I personally love it with Janet and Ian, when they have the young people's service once a month. That I think that even though it's for children, then I used to go to Sunshine Corner. Oh, it's mighty fine. It's for children under 99. All are welcome. Seats are given free. Carcroft Sunshine Corner is the place for me. And I think that adults can find things in the children's work as well and become childlike as well yourself.
Childlike rather than childish, you're saying?
Yes, yeah. I love that.
Mary, it's been lovely to talk to you. Thank you for all you shared with us. I think it's customary on these Saturday conversations to ask our people being interviewed to close with a reading or a prayer of your own choosing. So I wonder if you could do that for us now.
Thank you. My prayer today is based on an Old Testament verse that I've always remembered, that I learned at school. It comes to mind if I'm feeling upset or anxious for myself or someone else. Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with us, whithersoever thou goest. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for all that you provide and for all that you do for us in so many ways, for our friends and families, for the lives we lead, for the joy of knowing and seeing so many good people. Sometimes the challenges that we face in life can seem overwhelming, but you are there for us as our strength and our Redeemer, as you were for Joshua when he needed help and reassurance and guidance. Be with us as we go about our daily lives. Lift our spirits so that we're able to offer and receive help from those around us, both near and far. Please give us the courage and strength to use our talents towards making your kingdom on earth the best that it can be for all people and all creatures, now and in the future. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Amen.